Come and listen to this tale about a dude named Ted, standing there just looking at the tools in his shed. And then he got to thinking, just looking ain't no fun. Let's pick one up and plug it in and see if it'll run. It did. Pretty good, too. Now old Ted's a happy guy 'cause he's got a pretty wife. Figures if he plays it right, he'll keep that gal for life. That gal, her name is Beverly, and he's her hillbilly. He's sweet on her, she's sweet on him, they're happy as could be. She's Beverly, he's Hillbilly, he's Beverly's hillbilly.
So I'll bet you're wondering how in the world a fella cuts a tapered piece of wood and makes a decent job of it. Well, this jig, this was my father's jig, is the answer. And basically what you have here is a piece that's tapered. And this catches the workpiece, and then as you progress through the saw, the piece gets narrower. Imagine such a thing. Anyway, let's see how it goes. I didn't even adjust the angle on it. Well, it's not a very big taper, but tapered it is. Anyway, I'm just going to round over the top a bit. And if anybody complains that it's lopsided, well, you don't have to look at it much anyway. Alright, I'm just going to go over to the sanding disc and round over the end. Alright, here we go. I have two screws, one here and one here, and they're countersunk. All I have to do is tighten them up a bit, and we'll have a crank on there, at least the crank arm. I don't want to tighten it too much because I don't want to strip out those tiny little screws. All right. Now then, for my next trick, I've made a handle, nice little hardwood round handle. I rounded the end off, and this one's squared off. What I'm going to do, I hope, is I'm going to try to center this up on here and just drill a hole so that we get a mark at least. That works a lot better. Well, if it's straight is another question, but you know. Here's a lovely set of front fenders for a little car or truck. Success! We have success! So just a little bit more that I want to do here. We're going to pretty this thing up a little bit. First things first, this piece of angle iron is not very thick, and as a consequence the screw or the bolt doesn't fit very tight in it. So what I'm going to do, I might have to touch it a bit with the grinder there first just to clean it up a little bit because it is pretty rusty. But then I'm going to screw that nut down to the surface and I'm going to weld it on there. Then I'm going to try to turn some of this into something that maybe has a T or a elbow on it so that I can spin it quickly in and out to make the height adjustments. And I'll do the same on the other side, and then I'm going to cut this off here flush with the top of that, just round the edges off a bit so that it's not so sharp. Nobody's going to get cut on it or anything. And that should just about do it. We have I wouldn't call it a perfect one, but it certainly does work. To cool off, we'll shut you down for a second or two. Other side, same as that one, only backwards. Okay, so let's see if we can put the thing back together again now. Okay, so here's what's been decided on. I found a piece of threaded rod, and I've got it turned up as high as it'll ever have to go. I've got this nice little piece of hardwood that I use to make the handle for my crank. And I got thinking to myself, why don't we just make a knob out of that? And here's what I'll do. I'm going to cut that off and round it up and make it nice and round, easy to hang on to. Maybe I'll make it a little bit longer so that I got something to grip, since my gripper isn't very good. I'll drill a hole in here. I'll cut that to the length that makes it so that it fits down in there, and I'll use some epoxy to fasten that in there so that it doesn't just twist back out. Fill it with epoxy and cut that other thing off. So I made the two here. They're sitting up in the vise. I don't know if you can see that or not. There they are. And I've got some JB Weld down here. You might just like to see a, just let me turn the volume down on that stupid radio. I thought you might just like to see a picture of the finished product. I'm not even going to paint it. Can you imagine? Anyway, because there it is, it works, and it's not a piece of art, but it's successful. So the idea here is that these can be adjusted up or down to provide the appropriate tension on this roller, which on this roller, it's raised up or down on each end to bring it into closer contact with this roller, which actually produces the curve. And it seems to work. I got one at that end, and I've got one at that end. And I should show you this. Is it going to show up? Yeah. There's, I don't know if I'm actually going to use that or not, but it was a test template, or a test drawing, if you will, of a little car for my grandson. And that over there would create the fenders and running boards. So I've been playing on it a little bit, testing out some sketching. Alright, show you more. Anyway, actually I won't show you more. That's it for that particular series of videos. I think I'm going to go at it and make a playlist. Anyway, see you around. Bye.
So now I guess this episode is all done and said. I would like to thank you all for visiting with Ted. If you'd like to see what's next, why not subscribe and see? It's not that hard, just click on it. It's easy as could be. Comment too. I'd like that.